Welcome to POL Classics. Be sure to check out the best of POL from over the years. It's at its most popular day and time, and guess what? It's only on WNEP+.
WNEP proudly presents the premier outdoor show in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, your window to the great outdoors. Tonight on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life.
We'll fill you in on how the fishers are making out, and we'll take you on a successful bass fishing trip.
Bass or bite? Pennsylvania Outdoor Life starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. I'm Ken Hunter and I'm here with Don Jacobs.
Good evening.
And Jake, two wonderful things have happened. It's Father's Day and bass season is open.
It doesn't get any better than that.
I think for Father's Day you need to go bass fishing. That's what everybody should do.
Did you go bass fishing today?
I did. Well, not today, but I was out earlier this week.
Okay.
Caught a few bass. So I got my Father's Day in early.
You know, I never thought about that. Father's Day and bass fishing.
Should be able to fish all day.
It doesn't get any better
That's
than
right.
that.
And ice cream in the evening, you got your a well-made day.
Okay, did you hear that? Have ice cream ready for me. I'm coming home in a little while. Nothing better than bass fishing, and especially when the bass are biting like they were the day that we went out with Race Hockey. He's a field staff member. He called and he said, let's teach some people how to bass fish while we have a good time on Lake Wallenpaupack.
Ready to go. Beautiful day here, Lake Wallenpaupack. Bass are biting. At least that's what Ray says. We're ready to go.
With the high water conditions, some of the bass are going to be back in the coves, tucked in, and then some of the bass are even out on the main lake points. So what we're going to do is we got to try to find them today, depending on the wind, the weather. We have a beautiful sunny day. Depending on the weather, we're going to have to move around and see exactly where the fish are at. We're going to fish slow with them. So what we do, we cast them out and look for any black, dark rocks. We'll be fishing the rocks. Just let them sink to the bottom and then just shake them very gently and just leave them there and then shake them a little bit more. And what the fish are doing, you just shake it a little bit and you'll see your line going to the side.
And that's when you know
you just set the hook real hard. There's a fish. I got one.
Got him?
Yep, here he is.
Get the net?
Here he is. No, oh yeah,
nice
get that.
one, right?
He's a good one. Yep.
That's a nice one. Oh, nice smallmouth. That's a beautiful fish. Now that's a beautiful fish.
Nice smallmouth.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
And that was right in front of that dock.
Right off the edge of that dock. The back side of the dock is where he came from.
Does the time of the day mean anything? We're looking at the weather, the sun's up high.
Well, with the sun being out, like I told you earlier, the fish are going to relate to going underneath the docks, and they're going to hide underneath the docks and come out and hit the lures as you go. You just fish the shadows behind the docks is what we want to do.
Beautiful
and
fish.
You get a nice 16, 17-inch smallmouth.
Beautiful. Nice job, Ray.
We'll release them. There we go.
I want one.
What you want to do is you want to key in that little deeper water, and once again, you're going to have to check the conditions. You go from 5 foot to 20 foot of water we're going to fish today. And the lure selection would be tubes. I love to use the tubes. There's one. There he is. Yep. Come on. Hey!
Another nice fish.
There he is.
Whoa!
On the papa.
There you go. Oh.
Nice job. Now these are real healthy smallies, aren't they?
Yeah, they're nice.
Well, that's a dandy fish, Ray.
That's a good smallmouth.
And as far as live bait, you say you swear by live bait.
Live bait is one of your best all-around type baits to use because spring, summer, fall, or winter, they will hit a live bait. We'll mix it up with some live bait too. The live bait, they'll hit any time of the year.
Got a bite on the shirt. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a nice smallie,
Good fish?
Ray. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah. On the live bait yet.
Live bait. Wow.
Let me bring him up here for you.
Bring him up. Bring him up. Yeah. Nice smallmouth.
All right, man. Boy, he hit it, too.
Did he?
Yeah. There was no fooling around with this. No fooling around. On the live bait.
Wow.
Doing just like you said. I just drug it over some of the darker rocks and shadows and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yep. He hit it nice. What do you say that goes?
Oh, man. About 16, 17 inches.
Yeah.
Nice smallmouth.
All right, man.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot of fun.
On the live bait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
as I said, they hit live bait at any time. You know, it could be any time of the year.
And when they hit a live bait, they're out to kill it. That's it. It was all I could do. Let me put that one back.
There you go.
There
Beautiful
we go.
smallmouth.
Wallenpaupack smallies. Look at that. All right. Go back for another day. Somebody else will catch it. The spring that we had with the rain and the heavy snow melt, and I mean, it's even cool here today. Does that all affect what happens now in the rest of the bass season?
Yeah, it does, because what it's going to do is it's going to affect the weed growth in the lake, and the weeds aren't going to come up. They're going to be a lot lighter coming up. And what the high water does, because of the snow pack, we had all the snow, it raised the water level. And that's what's going to push these fish to the back of the coves because of high water. When the water gets high, the fish move shallower. I think I'm getting a bite. There's one. Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, get the net done.
Okay, wait, I got to get this one here, too, because I got one on. Hold on, mine's just a bluegill. Just hold on. Let me get the net. That's a beautiful bass right there. Nice.
Oh.
What a way to end the morning.
Wow.
What a way to end the day.
Oh, boy.
What a way to end the day. Beautiful.
Now, that's a nice smallmouth.
Yes, it
Close to
is.
4 pound.
Beautiful.
That's a beauty.
Is he going back in?
Yep, we're going to throw him back in for another day for somebody else to catch. Lake Wallenpaupack, beautiful smallmouth. Here he goes.
Thank you, Ray, for that incredible day on Lake Wallenpaupack. You know, the bass season did start yesterday, and Ray is like several other bass guys that I've talked to. They said, you know, because of the cold water and the high temperatures and the late spring that we're having, you've got to fish them like they're spawning rather than the post-spawn. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%. I was out last week for bass, Jake. The water temperature was 63 degrees. That's about 7, 8, 9 degrees below what it normally would be. I'm backing everything up about 2 weeks. I think we're running a couple weeks behind, so I agree. And the techniques would be what you'd normally be using, like back it up 2 weeks.
Right. Now, what about bait? Ray loves the tube baits. He says he'll go to a worm every now and then.
Yeah.
And if he's really fishing to put them in a live well for the dinner table, he'll use live bait. What do you say about that?
Live bait's always going to be good. I like to use artificials too. A tube is high on my list. I like a Texas rig lizard. The weeds are starting to come up. I like to get it down in the rocks and let it kind of kick up a little dirt. The tube kind of does that as well. But the Texas rigged lizard worked well for me last week at Rose Valley. Picked up about 11, 12 bass, caught and released them.
Same thing in the river?
I haven't been in the river the last week or two, so I don't know.
Water's high, right?
Yeah, it is. It's high. It's muddy. I looked at it a couple of days ago. Didn't fish. Water's still high and muddy, and the temperature's down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe summer will come. In fact, we're inside today because it hasn't stopped raining for 2 days.
We can't get a day to go outside, so, boy.
Well, but we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about an animal that's been reintroduced into the state. We're talking about the fishers, so stick around. We'll have even more POL Classics on WNEP Plus
right after this.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Well, with some great fishing, Jake. You guys caught a lot of bass there in that last segment. We have a lure here, by the way, that we're going to be giving away later on in the show. A crankbait. This thing will run at about 7 or 8 feet, maybe a little bit more depending on your line. It's got a rattle in it. That makes it real nice because this will help attract fish. Runs deep. You hit this thing up against a log, and boy, you're probably going to trigger a strike with that.
Do you use those?
Yes, I do. Great lure. It's good just about year-round. Good in the spring, good in the summer, good in the fall.
Anything that imitates a minnow, probably,
I think
right?
so, Jake. It's got a lot of wobble, a lot of action. But hey, besides fishing, being on the water reminds me of some other animals that live in the water.
You're using the name Fisher, aren't
Yeah,
you? Okay.
The name Fisher comes up.
The name Fisher. Well, we were with Tom Hardisky from the Pennsylvania Game Commission. He's in charge of fur bearers, and he does a lot of studying and research on fur bearers. Several years ago in the state of Pennsylvania, we released and reintroduced Fishers. We asked Tom Hardisky, how is the Fisher population doing here in the state of Pennsylvania?
In 1994, with a series of reintroductions, it lasted about 4 years, and basically the northern half of Pennsylvania in some of the public lands like state forests and state game lands scattered across the northern half. We reintroduced Fishers, 190 in total. As far as we know, those original kind of planted the seed to what we have now.
See how it goes the way we're set up now.
Come right out.
Wildlife Conservation Officer Bill Wasserman had the honor of releasing the first Fisher into the northeast Pennsylvania woods.
He's seeking out.
Is he?
Yep. There he comes.
It's just fascinating to see these animals back in the wild. We work with them on campus. We fly them down from New Hampshire, New York on U.S. Air as air freight. You know, the guys at the airport all know us from Penn State, and work with a local veterinarian at Mesker Animal Hospital and give them their vet checks. You know, they're anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, you know, depending on the health status and, you know, how long I think they need to stay there. We like to get them fat and healthy before we let them go. So it's a real accomplishment to see these healthy animals running out of here and know that they have an excellent chance of surviving.
Do we have Fishers throughout Pennsylvania?
Yes, Fishers appear to be doing very, very well. We're getting more and more sighting reports, people seeing young ones as well as adults, and roadkills occasionally. Plus we're doing some of our own monitoring, like track surveys in the snow. We also look at other things, scat surveys, things of that sort.
What territory would you expect them to be found in?
Well, they're an animal with that requires a full forest canopy, and they kind of prefer the bottom coniferous forest, like the mountainous drainages with the good conifer cover going up the drainage. They seem to prefer and travel those type areas. They stay away from areas like clear cuts. They seem to feel secure with that overhead canopy. So that's one requirement they've pretty much stuck to. They're kind of secretive, very elusive, so many people don't see them, even though they're sometimes right under your nose. Yeah, they have spread out. Their range has expanded pretty significantly over the years, and they have been close to towns. But it's generally a function of prey abundance. If they can find food, even though it's close to human habitation, they'll still take the chance and get in there despite human disturbance.
That's my next question then. What do they eat?
A variety of things. Generally, their bread and butter are small mammals like chipmunks and moles and voles and shrews and things of that sort. But they can take rabbits. They've been known to take birds, even the size of turkeys, raccoons in some areas, porcupines. They can eat porcupines. Generally, they take anything that's easy to catch. So actually in some areas, in urban areas, they might feed on squirrels, on gray squirrels. We've heard of domestic cats being eaten by fishers. Also, few reports of owl nests and hawk nests being raided by fishers. So eat a variety of things, and whatever's easiest for them to get, that's what they'll feed on.
The last fisher to be released actually climbed a tree right in front of our cameras.
But this is what they do, and it's quite a magnificent sight to see an animal like that climb a tree like he did.
Would they jump like?
We're trying to bring back part of Pennsylvania's heritage, and with the support of a lot of people and the interest of a lot of sportsmen, I think we're making some progress.
If you had to sum up the Fisher Reintroduction Program on a failure or very successful level or somewhere in between, how would you do it?
I'd say it's very successful. It's going to move along slowly because fishers are a low-density species. Their reproductive rate is relatively slow, so it's going to take a while for them to get on the fast track here. So as long as we're patient, it's going to go in a good direction.
And they're very successful, Lyle.
Very successful, that's right.
And thank you, Tom Hardisky, for spending the time with us to update us on the Fisher. Tom Surface is one of the biologists that you heard from, and Denise Mitchell-Tree-Wasserman, who was the college graduate student doing the work on it. Wow. It's an incredible comeback story.
You know, it's one of the very successful wildlife comeback stories in Pennsylvania. We've had a lot of them, but I mean, this is another one, and I've yet to ever see one of these in the wild.
Me neither, except when I let them out of the cage.
But like we're talking about, they're very well spread out, so it's not likely you're just going to walk out and happen to see one. So.
Now, if you do, though, the Game Commission says call us. Let us know, because we'll write it down and make sure that it gets logged. So
one of my goals. Here I am at the tender age of 37, and I've yet
37.
To see,
okay.
Yet to see a fisher.
And you don't know how to count either.
No, somewhere in that range. I know it's somewhere around there. So, well, hey, we're going to go to a break here, but don't go away. We'll be right back with People and Places.
POL Classic, we'll have much more of it on WNEP Plus right after this.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Hey, if you own a dog, you're going to want to pay particular attention to Susan Gallagher's, field staff member Susan Gallagher's tip of the week.
If you're like me, you enjoy spending time out of doors with one of your four-legged friends. But there are some things you can keep in mind to make sure that your time outside with your pet is enjoyable for both of you. If you're going to take your dog for a walk outdoors, check your dog's leash and collar for signs of wear and tear to make sure that he's safe and secure. Make sure that his identification tag and license are in plain view. After a trip to the woods, you may also want to check your dog for signs of fleas and ticks. Visit your veterinarian regularly. Make sure their vaccinations are up to date. And check out your local pet store. These days, they've got a lot of neat products to make the time you and your pet spend outdoors a lot more enjoyable. This is a little traveling water bottle and dish. So when the hot weather finally hits, Kazakh here can stay nice and hydrated. So keep these tips in mind. The time that you spend outdoors with your pet can be enjoyable for both of you. I'm Susan Gallagher. This is Kazakh, and that's your tip of the week.
Thanks, Susan, for those great tips.
And now, another field staff member, Mike Stevens, put together this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places.
We open this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places with 19-year-old Chelsea Francis of Heiner. Chelsea bagged this beauty while hunting with her father on the opening morning of the rifle season in Clinton County. This deer sported 17 points and a 23-inch spread. Sticking with deer, next we see 12-year-old Daniel Lewis Jr. and his father, Daniel Lewis Sr. of East Stroudsburg. Dan Jr. harvested this spike buck with a 45-pound Bear recurve bow, shooting cedar arrows. He stalked this spike on foot to within 10 yards. This is Daniel's first deer, and he took it in only his second day of hunting. Congratulations, Daniel. Want to see some big fish? Well, 12-year-old Guy Calabro of Lake Ariel is seen here with 2 of the stripers that he caught while fishing with his father and grandfather on Lake Wallenpaupack. On the left is a striped bass, which measured in at 26 inches, and on the right is a hybrid striped bass measuring 24 inches. Guy tells us that these fish weighed 10 pounds each. Our next photo comes to us from Mike Bowersox of Mifflinburg. Mike is seen here with the 18-pound gobbler that he shot on the first Tuesday of the spring gobbler season. He tells us that this bird, along with another, tried his patience for a little over 3.5 hours, with the last hour and a half being in a steady rain. It just goes to show that persistence pays off. Mike says that this hunt will add another page to the memory book which he shares with his father. Nice story, Mike. Our final photo is of Jack Evelyn from Catawissa, Columbia County. Jack is seen here with the 20-pound gobbler that he shot while hunting on Catawissa Mountain on the second Saturday of the season. This bird ended up sporting a 9-inch beard. With this successful turkey hunter, we close this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places.
Hey, welcome back. We're going to do some product demonstration and product giveaway. Let's get down the line here. We have some pork rind, not to be confused with the sushi that we made last week. This is from the back of your hook, entices the fish a little more. Some Gamaketsu hooks, worm hook rig, some plastic sliders that go in the back of a jig. Here's a nice crankbait from Excalibur we talked about earlier. Smelly jelly. And a slider, Whirly Bee slider. It's a jig spinner combination. And Jake, what we're going to do is we'll put all of it in a Gamaketsu hat. These come to us from Ray Sahaki Sporting Goods. We'll just put all of these great things, nice little bass fishing package, into one hat. We'll draw a name, and some lucky winner is going to get this great prize.
Ray absolutely loves that smelly jelly stuff. Unlike anybody else I've ever seen, he says it
he
just
uses
holds
it on the lures?
Oh, yeah, and I think he puts some in the back of his ears.
He doesn't
and
put
everything.
it on toast or anything like that.
You don't know with Ray. He's so into
might,
fishing. They say he eats, sleeps, and drinks fishing. So.
I hope he doesn't eat that stuff. Well, our lucky winner is Julius Budwash of Mahanoy City, Pennsylvania.
Congratulations. Now, last week we did a little bit of pickerel pickling. Yeah. Next week, Eddie and Ray will join us. We're going to stuff some crappies.
I like this eating stuff.
Is your mouth watering already?
I think it's great. We ought to eat every week. Just cook and eat something every week.
All right, well, start bringing stuff in and we'll start whooping it up.
Okay, we'll do it.
For Ken Hunter, I'm Don Jacobs and the entire staff here at Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. That's Pennsylvania Outdoor Life for tonight. Good night and enjoy your week.
And so long.
Pennsylvania Outdoor Life is a local presentation of WNEP TV. We're proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania.
Be safe.
Thank you for joining us for a look back at POL Classics. Now I'm going to invite you to join us every Sunday night at 6:30 on WNEP+.